Okay, 27-2016, Finance Committee, Councilmember Hart. This is an ordinance designating wages and salaries and other employment benefits and establishing personnel policies for the appointed officials and employees of the Village of Sebring, repealing inconsistent ordinances and declaring an emergency. Council, having heard the ordinance read by title only with the emergency clause, what's your pleasure?
That's this one.
Mayor, make a motion to adopt the ordinance as read with the emergency clause.
Second.
Motion by Hart, seconded by Wright, to adopt the ordinance as read with the emergency clause. Questions or comments?
Mayor, under questions or comments, there are some things in here that do not change, I believe. One being the fire
That's
chief.
one wrong right now.
He should stay at 12,000, correct?
27.
Yeah. Not on this one. Not on this one. Not on this one.
Remember, we separated those out.
Oh, that's right,
Separated.
you're right.
Not on this one.
He's
Yeah.
on the next one.
That's right. Yeah, we had to do that because
This is all employees except fire department and water treatment plant operators. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I personally can't vote for that resolution or ordinance or what it is because there's a $4,800 raise in there for the police chief, which I don't think is fair. And I'm a protector of the taxpayers' money. That's a 12% raise. How can this community give a man a 12% raise? I think it's absurd. And the 3% for everybody else that works here is just fine. I wish we could give them all a 12% raise. But that's just my feeling. And I don't want anybody to get hurt that I'm going to vote no on this ordinance.
Okay.
Can I clarify that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to clarify that for the...
Clarify what?
Chief Heverly's raise is not a 12% raise. It is bringing him back up to where he was supposed to be brought back in August of 21st of 2016. Not bringing him up as a breach of contract. You were told this last week.
I wasn't told that. I was told his wages were supposed to be froze for back then.
Till August 21st of 2016.
They've never
He was
been
brought
froze.
back up.
He has gotten a raise every time
Because
everybody
that
else
was
has
never
got a
written.
raise.
That was never written anywhere, Mr. Cannell.
No, I know it wasn't written.
So he got his
No.
3% raises like everybody else.
You people made a deal and you got nothing to back it up. I can't vote for
Well,
anybody
that's
to have
fine.
a $4,800 raise.
This is a free country, Mr. Cannell.
I know it is. I know it is a
whatever
free
you
country.
want, but I'd like the rest of the employees to know that because you're not for them getting a raise.
Yeah.
In 2012, I was mayor, and Mr. Heverly came to us and said he would like to retire and be rehired. The manager at the time said he wanted to do that, rehire him. Without a whole lot of thought, and because I think of the wave of retires and rehires and public officials at the time, and school board people and public employees, I, for one, supported Mr. Heverly taking a 10% base wage cut from the city coffers. And he did so. And the deal was he would be froze at that level as a base pay for 4 years. The 4 years was up in August. At that point, we were to bring him back up to where his salary should be. Now, he has got some salary increases, if you want to, because they were increases, but not in the base. If he got any type of extra enumeration, it was based on that base pay plus 1.5 or 2 or 3, whatever we gave at the time. And 2 times it was just a pure bonus type of a situation, cash. The base pay never changed. So he has been froze at that base for those 4 years. Now, hindsight's always 20/20, And after review of this whole situation, I don't believe as a council, as a mayor, I don't think we handled it very well. Heard no complaints from Mr. Heverly for 4 years. He has lived up to his end of this agreement, and I think this council needs to live up to that end of the agreement. I understand Mr. Cannell's concern. He can vote the way he pleases. That's why he's a member of this council. But I do know for a fact what type of restrictions were put on Mr. Heverly at the time. And that time frame has run out. And like other councils before us and councils following us, they're going to have to live with things we commit to, whether we like them or not. Mr. Wright.
Mayor, if I can add one thing, since I was chair of finance at that time, you know, like you said, hindsight's 20/20. That to me, that was a bad decision that we made, and he has never once complained. The only thing that I can tell you is what we do know is that what we told the manager to go back with never happened. So, me sitting here today, I can't even guarantee you what we even agreed to was ever broached with him, because in December of 2012, we were provided a letter that moved his salary up from $41,300 up to $42,000. And at that point, we had nothing to do but honor that, even though we had told that manager at that time that his salary was going to be at $41,000 and some change. So I'm not even really sure knowing what's gone on. I mean, and I guess I have to give it to Ray. He's never once complained. He's never once shunned duties. He's did his job. He's held up to his end of the bargain, and I believe this council should hold up to its end of the bargain and move his salary back up to where it should be. It is not going to cost the taxpayers any more money, and if we had to go out and hire a new police chief. Because go back and look at what the sergeant makes, because he gets paid overtime, and I'll guarantee you it's really close to what the chief's being paid currently. So we're not going to, this is the problem that we have across the board. As you've all seen, we've been a year looking for a water plant operator that we haven't been able to hire. So, but we got one coming on board in January, finally. But it's just because that's what we can afford.
Any other questions or comments?
Hey,
Yes, sir.
I'm not going against Mr. Heverly. I'm going against the $4,800 raise,
Okay.
the 12%.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, I do.
Yeah.
I did have Malia pull me Mr. Heverly's last 5 years of pay. I'm not going to publicly put that out. It will be here for your sight if you choose to do so. But we did make this agreement when we asked him from the rehire standpoint. And there's certificate pay that goes along with that and license pay. So I agree that we've held off and we have to do something. So if anybody wants to see that, you'll see the differences as to what he was at and where he's at now.
It takes a lot to put faith in a community for 4 years when you've made a promise. So I think we need to honor that.
Any other questions, comment? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Householder.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Cannell.
Yeah.
Wright.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinance is adopted as presented with the emergency